Independence Showcase Scotland. It's actually episode 3 because I done one on my own without my illustrious colleague Fiona Loughlin. Fee, welcome back.
Hello, it's been a long time.
Yeah, well, 24 hours as it amazingly happens. I'm going to end up with a Scottish accent at the end of this, I think.
It's not a bad thing.
No, I am actually a quarter Scottish, and that is legit. My granddad lives up in Scotland. My granddad's Scottish, so that is a
There you go.
there we go.
See?
There we go. Anyway, Fee, I don't know what we're talking about, and we got a guest to talk to today. Now, I believe, and if a little birdie tells me right, Fee, PBW celebrates their anniversary, right?
It is PBW's 20th anniversary today on the 31st of March. So happy birthday, PBW. That is my home promotion. So chuffed to see them hit this milestone and lots of exciting things ahead. So very excited.
Very exciting. Congratulations. And do you know what, Fee? As it's their birthday and as it's your home promotion, I'm going to give you the honor of introducing everyone to our guest this evening.
Alrighty, so our guest this evening is one half of the current PBW champions, as well as a champion of SCW. He is none other than the Stag, Xander Davidson. Xander, welcome. It's good to have you on board tonight. How
Oh,
are
well,
you?
it's good to be here. It's good to be here. I'm doing very well, very well. Glad to be here. Looking forward to talk a bit of wrestling with you guys. So it'll be a fun time. Yeah.
Great to have you on, Xander. Does Fiona announce you that way during the show, or is
Yeah. The stag is the moniker I go with now. Basically, I had a big stag tattoo on my back from when I was a teenager. So I've kind of just ran with that, and I've got stags on my trunks. I've got stags in.
You're kind of all stagged out, really, aren't
I've
you?
got stags everywhere. I've got stags coming out my ears, basically. So yeah, it's become my little symbol. So I'm quite happy with it.
excellent stuff? Look, I always start with this question. We're now getting into the sort of the front or the back end of the front half of
Mm.
2026, if we say. How has the 2026 started for you up there in Scotland?
It's been busy. I've had probably the busiest start to a year that I've had since I started professional wrestling. I've wrestled. I think I've probably wrestled more in England than I have in Scotland this year so far, which has been great. And yeah, I've just had a lot more matches with a lot more different promotions. Just a lot of traveling, but yeah, it's just been a nice busy start, and I wouldn't change it for the world. It's been good.
You've done a little bit for Target, haven't you, recently?
I did. I just debuted for Target last week.
Yeah.
It was my debut. Target's always one that I had in my periphery, and I was like, I'd really like to work there. And luckily, I got the message a few weeks ago to come down last week, and I got to the Box Arena, which is
Yeah.
their main venue, which is the one that looks super cool with the lights. And I went down and had a blast challenge for their tag team titles. Didn't quite get the result that I wanted, it was still a fun time. And I hope to be back at Target in the near future.
Yeah,
I
and
think
you've just debuted with Mega Slam as well, haven't you?
Actually, I debuted with Mega Slam in 2023.
Wow,
So
okay,
yeah, no,
okay.
it was a while. So I did back in 2023 was my first full calendar year as a professional wrestler. I think
yeah.
I did like 12 different promotions in one year in my rookie year, essentially. Mega Slam was one of them. Did a few camps in Wooler and Dunbar, and then I did Huddersfield as well for them that year. But they were just one-offs. But yeah, no, went back to Mega Slam for the first time in 3 years this year for their shows in Blackpool, the mega event in Barnsley in front of it was between 1,500 and 2,000 people. I don't know the
Wow,
exact
that's
number, but
cool.
it was around about there, which was great. And then I joined up with them again to do Presswick also last week as well. So yeah, it's been good to be back.
There's a good
Brilliant.
roster there. We were talking to Sam about it last night, and there's a phenomenal roster at Mega Slam, isn't
Oh
there?
yes, some of the best, a perfect blend of up and comers, but also established veterans as well. So your Martin Kirby's, your Joey Hayes, all really great, and you've got see Sam on the up, Ricky Regan on the up. I got to work with Matt Tucker, who I only met a handful of times, and he's a great guy there as well. So you know,
Good stuff.
Excellent.
great
Excellent.
to
I like that. And obviously, look, tag team champion now. Tag teams, me and you love a bit of tag team wrestling. One of the best forms of wrestling to get, nowadays. How do you feel the tag team scene is about now? I mean, a lot more now on the bigger, the WWEs, the AEWs. They've kind of shifted into trios more than we see.
Mhm.
tags as much. What's the tag team scene like in Scotland? Is it still thriving? Is it still need a bit more work to be done? Where are we with it?
I think it's really, really strong. The tag team scene in Scotland, like, because there's a few different like major promotions, and they've all got their major tag teams there as well. You've got a lot of up and coming tag teams there. Also, as in me and Ahmed Hamda, the current PBW tag team champions, we had a fantastic match this past Friday with Sam Taylor and Landon Riley, two of the best cruiserweights in the country. We've also got Alex Parker, Danny Clark are doing some really good stuff as a tag team. And that's just in PBW alone. You've also got Arcade Violence and ICW, KOE there as well. So there's a lot of really great tag teams around the Scottish scene at the moment. So it's in a really good place at the moment.
Good. There's a tag team in particular in the UK that probably a lot of people will know when I mention them. They're called CPF, Close Personal Friends. You probably know.
I have heard of them, yes.
Yes, Danny Black, Joe Lando, and Maverick Mayhew sometimes when they do the trio. Although CPF is a little bit like England's version of the Don Callis family. It's ever growing, and wherever they go, they seem to have a different name, like a different person gets there. Maybe if it's a one night only thing, I don't know. But when it comes to tag team wrestling, what I like, and me and Fee both have the same. Well, Fee loved it more than me. It's NWA. But when I've watched the NWA in particular, what I like about the tag matches in there is it is very old school. It was always about that hot tag, right? You used to get it always used to be like Shawn Michaels used to get his ass handed to him for 10 minutes. He would make that hot tag to Marty Jannetty and that would set up the finish. Mm-hmm. Is tag wrestling still got that methodical style now, or is there more of an element of a strong style element to it?
I definitely try and still implement the classic old school kind of style. Like the way that we were taught tag team wrestling by our coach Kid Fight. He's a renowned tag team wrestler himself.
Yeah.
So he's all about the psychology of cutting the ring in half. Obviously, you're meant to not let your opponent get to anywhere near their corner. If you're going to be suplexing or throwing them, you're doing it back towards your own corner. So they have to get through you before they can make that hot tag, because that's really what they are all trying to do, and that's what you're building towards. I do like I'm a bit of a hard hitter myself, I would say.
Yeah.
Not
vouch for that. I've seen you.
But I do let it in. So if I've probably got a bit of a blend of the old school kind of psychology along with the modern day kind of or strong style, if you want to call it that, kind of way of going about my tag team matches. But definitely the psychology of the old school way is definitely at the forefront of what we're thinking. Obviously, for the heels to be cheating and trying to not let the baby faces make that tag at all. And then when they do,
I've also seen you do that.
Yeah, wow. You know, what can I do? It works well. It works well. That's it. But then when the hot tag does happen, that's when everyone comes up, and you want that kind of rumble. And I think on Friday in particular, we definitely got that. So that's always what we kind of aim towards.
Yeah, obviously you're not just a tag team wrestler.
No.
You're also singles wrestler. You are the Saltire Championship Wrestling catchweight champion. You've been over to Europe as a singles wrestler as well. What's your preference? Have you got a preference between singles or tag?
So before teaming with Ahmed, I would have said singles, and that is just because I find it easier to get myself over as a character as a singles, because I'm not competing with anyone else. But meanwhile, when you are in a tag team, sometimes they might have a slightly bigger personality, while mine is a bit more subdued, so it's a bit harder for me to get my character over and in there. But with Ahmed, we bounce off each other really well. He can be the funnier of the two, and I can be the straight man, but that kind of works in our favor a lot of the time. So with that, I just love tagging with him. So I'm happy. I would hopefully be able to tag with him everywhere in the world, as well as doing my single stuff as well. So
that would be good. What do you consider are the big fundamentals when you have a tag team partner? Do they have to be exactly the same as you? Do the opposites attract more? What's the sort of fundamental? If you had to like a 5-point plan, like a 5-bullet point bit about a tag team partner, what in your mind, how would it go?
I think it's a bit of both. So you need to be both kind of similar, but also different at the same time, if that kind of makes sense. So the look needs to be in line with each other. So you couldn't have one guy wearing black and the other guy wearing, a bright, fancy color, because I just think it wouldn't fit too well. So to go back to my own example, so me and Ahmed, we are quite different character-wise. I mean, we're both nasty kind of bullies kind of terms in terms of of the base of it, but he's more like to bust out a dance move every now and then. Meanwhile, that's not really my thing. He will steal a cowboy hat, while I'll be the one to tell him to put it back. So I'm more the straight one in that sense. But
You
in
like the
terms of how
sensible
we
one out of the two of you.
exactly, yeah, exactly. I'm the one. Come on, we've got a job to do. Put the cowboy hat down. We've got a match to win. But in terms of like the look wise, so we'll have matching trunks. He changed from tights to trunks to match me. I got a pair of black trunks, so I matched him. Then we've got matching jackets, so it all kind of comes together that we look like a team, we feel like a team when we come out. But we can have those slight character differences where one can be a bit silly, one can be a straight man, and it just kind of works that way. You can play off each other.
How did that? Because that for me, obviously, we work quite close together. We work at a lot of promotions together. For me, maybe I was just blind to it, but that tag team union kind of came out of nowhere for me. What was that, something that was planned, or was it a case of at one show, right, we're going to put you two together, and then, or did it come from training? How did you get together and decide, right, this is the team?
I think initially it would have been the holiday parks on the camps. It would have been so on the camps, obviously, basically from the months of March till October. Premier British Wrestling has a show every single Sunday in various holiday parks over the country. If you want to class them as like non-canon wrestling events, they kind of are, because the results often don't go out, and it's just a fun show for the families and whatnot who are there. But it's a good opportunity for us to try out new things or see teams and pairings that might work. And I think it was 2024. I've been on them since 2023. I think Ahmed came on them in 2024, and we were like kind of like the in-house heels for a lot of them, where we'd go to different places and we do it. So at some point, I imagine the promoter decided that we'll try that out on a town show, which was Greenock, April 25th of 2025, which is when I got the black trunks. He went to trunks, I think, earlier that year, and then we walked out at that show, and he thought, "There we go, that's the team." So,
wow.
And you've never really looked back since?
No, we've now taken the team to, I think, 4 promotions now. 1 in England, 3 in Scotland, and we're trying to get abroad as well. Maybe defend the PBW tag belt somewhere in Europe sometime this year as well.
That would be interesting. Feel look, they could go over in Europe and announce them out.
I'd love to. Yeah, take me with you.
Yeah.
Part of the team, our own personal announcer. That'd be great.
That's it. I could be like Ricardo Rodriguez.
There we go.
Yeah.
Can you do the Alberto Del Rio announce it the way that he done it though?
I can practice that.
So you can't do it.
It's on the rolling of the R's, isn't it? That's
fuck. Yeah, sod that. That ain't.
No, we're Scottish. We can do that. We can roll around.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. You could do it. But just going back to, because you mentioned about you wanted to go to Europe and stuff like that, and with sort of going back to the WWEs and AEWs as well, with the fact now that there's so much wrestling accessible, and that there's so much companies, as in there's NWA, there's TNA, there's AEW, WWE, CMLL, GCW. I could list the name on, because there's so much variety now. Does it give more hope for the British, the Scottish, the Italians, that there is going to be that potentially is going to be opportunity for you guys to go and make it in America?
Of course there is. It's very encouraging to see that there is so much opportunity out there, and it is readily available for those who are willing to put the work in and grab it. Granted, you need to still put the work in. It's not there's so much opportunity that it's just going to fall in your lap. It's not the way that it works. You still need to train hard, eat right, look good, all that kind of stuff. But it will definitely improve your chances on getting out and about. Just because there is so much popping up. There's new shows, there's new companies popping up week in, week out in various areas of the world, and it's up to us to try and source those opportunities for ourselves. But they are there. So if you go looking, you will find the opportunities, which is fantastic, because before that wasn't really the case. You were kind of just in your own little bubble, and it was difficult to break out. So now breaking out, especially with social media, breaking out is possible for every aspiring wrestler.
Yeah, it definitely is. And just because there's two major Scottish wrestlers that everyone will kind of probably know, Drew being one of them, and Joe Hendry being the other. And two opposite ways, really. Drew kind of, and I don't mean this disrespectfully to Joe. I'll get on to Joe in a minute, but Drew was kind of like he was there, he'd made it, he lost it. He then went, worked his arse off, got it back, and he still got fucked over in the end, but in my opinion, but that's, but he's still there and he's still doing it and he's got this great match. Joe Hendry, on the other hand, and it's not a knock for me when I say this, he made himself by singing a song, which there's nothing wrong with that because it's got like not an organic way of getting over. But he got himself over by singing songs. I saw a load of songs that he'd done on ICW and things like that. So he's always had it there. But as being Scottish though, and it was a bit like us with when an English wrestler goes there, you'd always get attached to. You always want them to do well. Now you're actually seeing them becoming really successful and doing it. Is that also lighting a bit of a fire under people's backsides because they can see actually not only can I go there, but I can actually be something when I'm there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, Drew McIntyre was popped up in WWE when I was 10 years old or something like that. He just became like, oh, he's the Scottish guy on the roster, a bit like how Sheamus was the Irish guy, and it was just like there was just one. There's only ever going to be one, just so they filled that spot. But then as it's grown, obviously you see there's more Scottish talent. Obviously, your Alba Fire's popped up over there. Piper Niven's popped up over there. Noam Dar's over there as well. Gallus were over there for a long time. So there's definitely a pathway now for Scottish wrestlers to make it to the big time. So yeah, it definitely does light a fire. And in my personal way is I'll take it as far as I can. I'll grab every opportunity I can, give it my best shot, and hopefully I can make the distance just like those guys. But if not, I'm not gonna cry about it either because I'm doing all right at the moment myself.
Good. So you've been out to Europe already this year. Where have you been, and where have you been so far? And how's the experiences in Europe? Has it been different to Scotland, or is it quite similar in terms of setup and how they do things?
The basics are all the same. I've wrestled in 4 countries now, Scotland, England being 2 of them, and then Denmark and Germany have been the other 2. Denmark is good. They're more similar to ourselves. They're a bit harder. They like a bit more less of. I don't want to say it's like so. I'm trying to differentiate my shows here because obviously a holiday park shows are very different from a town hall show. So the holiday park stuff probably wouldn't work too well over in Europe. They're more looking for the town hall kind of quality each and every time, which is fine. They just want a bit more realism in the wrestling rather than the more pantomime side of it. So when you go out over there, it's a bit more serious. So you still have your funny moments and stuff like that, but it's a bit more serious over it, especially in Germany because I went and trained over with WXW, and I wrestled on one of their academy shows, and they were all about everything has to mean something. Take your time, let everything breathe. So you ought to take that into consideration more so than when you're doing a holiday park show over here. So it is different, but it's all stuff that I have gone through in the past. I wasn't overwhelmed or shaken up by it, so it was all a good experience overall.
Excellent. Excellent. Right, we're going to take a break from talking about your good self and the Scottish scene and talk a bit more about wrestling in general. I have a list of random wrestling questions that I ask. The answers sometimes differ, sometimes they're the same. People I think sometimes get stumped by one question, won't be, but they'll get stumped by another one that I didn't think they would get stumped by. So it is going to be interesting. The first question is, as you are a tag team wrestler, what is your Mount Rushmore of tag teams in wrestling?
Okay, so I'm gonna go with Edge and Christian. I'm gonna go with the Hardy Boys. Just because whenever I go back and watch stuff, I always find myself going to around about the years of 2000 to 2001-ish, which obviously them and the Dudleys. And the Dudleys were my least favorite of the 3, unfortunately. The Dudleys are great, don't get me wrong, but they were my least favorite of the 3. So I'll leave them off so I've got a bit more space to work with. And then I'll probably go for a more modern day kind of thing. you kind of have to pick the Usos, I think,
Yeah.
because they've just been around, and
Their
it
new
makes me.
song sucks though.
I didn't hear it. I haven't heard it yet.
Yeah, you don't want to
But
hear it. Mute it.
They have a new song.
yeah,
The
they got a new
Usos.
song like on
It's
Raw last night or something.
a remix of Jay's Down with it's just me use, but it's just us. It's now and yeah,
Okay.
load of
I will
shit.
have to go and have a wee look for that. Sorry,
Um,
interrupted you there.
but no, it's all right. But no, I remember the like the Hell in a Cell they had with the New Day in
Mm,
2017, and I was like, that was class, and I'll put them in there. Um, Mine are all going to be WWE. I'm a big
that's
WWE
fine.
fan myself. That's all pretty much I watched as a kid. Is what got me back into wrestling
Yeah.
when I was a teenager. So I'm probably going to have to pick. The fourth one is tricky. So I think because I wouldn't say they're my favorite tag team, but my favorite faction was Evolution. But then I wouldn't put
Yes,
them in
mine
the bracket
too.
of tag teams because then you think, well, it'd be Flair and Batista, and they didn't really have
They
that
didn't really
much
have a
memorable
tag
stuff.
team, did they?
They
It
did have
was
a
a
tag team. Yeah,
combination, wasn't it?
it was. Yeah, no, I enjoyed that, but I'll go with the New Day. I will go with the New Day because they did do the breaking of Demolition's record and stuff like that as well. So I think and they're probably one of the longest running consecutive like tag teams that have been. So they've been going since what 2014, I think. So at
Oh
least
wow.
some version of them has been
Yeah.
going for about 12 years, which
Yeah.
is insane.
Yeah, that is crazy. And any eagle-eyed viewers of Raw this week would have noticed Kofi Kingston talking to Javon Evans. So I don't know
Oh,
whether that's going to be another
a new
potential
member.
member. Yeah, maybe to replace the irreplaceable Big E.
Yeah.
I just spoke then about hideous theme songs, and then when I mentioned the Usos. But I want to talk. I've just asked you for your Mount Rushmore of tag teams. Now I'm asking you for your Mount Rushmore of wrestling theme songs.
Okay, right. So big bit of a heavy metal slash rock head myself, so I
Mhm.
do have a couple in here. So I'll go Edge Metalingus is one that
Yes.
has to go
Yep.
in there. Batista's by
Yep.
Saliva, I Walk Alone would
Hmm.
be one. The Game by Triple
Of
H's
course.
one would be
Yeah.
one. Um, and I was a big fan of this back in the day, but I liked the Burning My Light by Mercy Drive, which is Randy Orton's from like
Yep.
2004 to 2009, I think it was, or 2008. Big fan of that one. And I got sung her in my primary school playground quite a lot as well. So, so it's fresh in my mind at all times whenever I go down memory lane. So I'll pick those four.
That is good. Table for free. You can have free wrestling personalities, living past or present. One of them has to be from Scottish wrestling. The other
Okay.
two can be anyone in wrestling. Who is your three people you're going to have dinner with?
Okay. I'll pick Edge because he still is my favorite wrestler.
Yep.
From growing up and as a teenager. Um, Eddie Guerrero, I'll take as
Mhm.
well because just to pick his brain and
Okay.
his all of it. 'Cause I think he just seems like a genuinely nice guy as
He
well.
is.
Good to be around. No one ever says anything bad about Eddie Guerrero, so I'm like, cool. That's the kind of people I would like to be around. Scottish wrestling. Just because she would have came through the exact same system that I did, I'd pick maybe Alba Fire. She would have done the exact same stuff that I'm doing, the holiday parks, the same shows, same towns, came from the same academy. So it'd be good to kind of sit and compare uh, journeys, if you will. So that'd be quite cool.
No, I like that. I like that. If I may, I'd like to tell you my Eddie Guerrero story, if you
Oh,
don't
please
mind.
do, please do.
So we'd traveled 16 hours. We flew to LA to watch WrestleMania 21.
Hmm.
It was my first holiday that I didn't have the parents. I was not quite old enough to drink, but I looked old enough to drink, if that makes sense. So we went via Germany to US. I don't know why we done that. Fee, I should have booked it with you. You'd know what you're doing. Uh, but we got there. So we checked into the hotel, and like most hotels in America, they have a Denny's attached to it. And we was in Denny's just having some lunch, and it was like, "What's going on today?" And he said, "Oh, Eddie Guerrero's signing at Toys R Us." So we obviously looked on WWE.com and they did the announcement. So we we finished off what we were doing. We got into a cab and we got into this Toys R Us where the signing was, and there was people outside in tents, which gives you an idea of how long some
Mhm.
people had been there. It was a blistering hot day. And we looked at the queue and we're like, okay, look, we'll queue up. We'll see what happens. If it don't happen, we'll just go back. We got in the queue. It's strictly 500 people when we were 496, 497, 498, 499, and 500. That was the 5 of us. We got the last
Just made it. Yep. Yep.
5 spy spots. So we're like, great. So we got here. This is like 4 hours before the signing's due to happen. It was like a 6 to 8 signing. We got there at like 2. So anyway, he gets a police escort in. They start it, and it's got into like 2 minutes to 8, and we're just inside the door of Toys R Us. So we get in, we're queuing up, and there's probably about a dozen of us left. So probably about the last 12. You can see him, he's at a table. So as I'm looking at you, I'm looking at Eddie basically. And she said, look, he's run out of time. We've got to go and ask him if it's okay if we can finish, because he's gone a strict time because WWE earlier. So okay. We was a bit gutted. We're like, oh, if we don't meet him, it was a chance thing anyway. So she just walked over. She went, it's gone 8 o'clock. You've got these people here. Do you want it? Are you able to do it? And he's looked up. He's given the Eddie smile that he does, and everyone will know about it. And he's just like, we got online SC! And he done his little shoulder jig, and everyone just lost it. He basically stayed and finished off the autograph signing, which was
class.
That is class. I actually thought you were going to say you got up and left. That's why I was like, no. I would have been heartbroken.
That's the first, it could have been the first bad Eddie Guerrero story, but no, it's still solidified.
It was never going to be a bad Eddie Guerrero story. No, he was great. Yeah, that was before WrestleMania 21, which was a really good, 20 odd years ago now, near enough. Which is Jesus, that's bad when you think about that. Anyway, I digress, and I'll. Fee, was you going to say something?
No. I'm still just like in shock that you got to meet Eddie Guerrero. I'm like,
I did, and the sad part of it was 6 months later he passed away.
Yeah,
pretty much that year, wasn't it? It was that year, which was really
sad.
But anyway, I digress. If you can debut a particular wrestling show, now it doesn't, it could be a WWE show, it could be I don't know, another promotion show, like a special show, so like a pay-per-view. What pay-per-view would you want to debut at?
Oh, it's got to be some kind of Rumble. It's got to be some kind of Rumble. Let's go on. Whether it would be like the WXW shortcut to the top, or it's the Royal Rumble itself, I think the best way to debut is usually a Rumble. The clock counts down, hits the buzzer, fresh music hits, fresh face, and they come in like a house on fire. That's a great way to get started.
Would you run to the ring, or would you do the slow walk? How do you think you would approach it?
I think I definitely take my time on the stage and or entranceway to like take in the whole room, maybe deep breath, and then do a light jog down. So it looks like I'm quite eager, but not going to gas myself out.
You don't want to do that slide under the ring.
No, I do not want to do Titus. No, I do not want to lose. Exactly. And the faster you run, the more likely you are to fall. So like a nice controlled run and slide in rather than I'd probably have to run and do a box jump, but I'd do the run anyway. But yes.
So this is a thing for Xander. Xander enters the ring with a box jump, and he gives me the fear every time I stand in the ring, because the rings are quite high. That's a good couple of feet off the ground. And he comes to the middle and he does a box jump into the ring, and I'm just like, every time my heart's in my throat, just please don't.
And there's two iconic moments that you could when you have that WrestleMania moment, right? And even if you're losing, you can have that WrestleMania moment.
Yeah.
And I could think of 2 that you could do with the box jump. You could box jump into the F5 from Brock Lesnar, or you can box jump into the RKO from Randy Orton. Which one are you choosing? That's your last question.
RKO, 100%. I've taken so many RKOs in my career already, basically, because
Logan Smith.
Logan Smith is probably up there one of my most wrestled opponents, if not my most wrestled opponent. And his finish was an RKO or a Cody cutter, and we've wrestled definitely north of 50 times. I have won once.
Wow.
Every other time I have taken an RKO and lost. So, yeah. Make it that way you will.
Who did you win the tag team belts from?
Logan Smith. I pinned Logan Smith to get the tag team belt, so it was a long-term goal with that one. So there we go.
It's like
That's kind of up there as a win, to be fair.
It is. It is. It's a big
That
win.
that's revenge. That is a pretty good revenge.
it's like you're like the Tommy Dreamer and he's like the Raven of
Yeah, pretty much.
go
Pretty
back
much.
with that. I don't know if Tommy Dreamer ever beat you. I can't remember. I don't. I'll have to go back through and have a look. But it's one for anyway. One for anybody else that knows. Just put it down there and let us know. We're going to start to go back. Start to wrap up the show. Sorry now, but before we do that, look, the rest of 2026. Do you goal set? Do you have milestones, or do you just take it all in and see how it all pans out?
I'm a very simple man with the way that I plan out the rest of my years. I just want every following year in wrestling to be better than my previous year. That's it. So, like for example, I did my first, which was difficult because my first year, like full year, was 2023, and I had like 93 matches, which is insane for someone just coming in to do that. So I was like, right, okay, I want to beat that in 2024, and I got 101. So I'm like, okay, cool, that's that beaten. So in 2025, I had less matches, but I won some titles. So I'm like, cool, so that means it's overall a better year. But this year, I just want to get out and wrestle as many places as I can. So more promotions, more countries, all that is just how I'm going to base it. So if I can get to 4 countries this year, that's more than I've ever done in a year before, then I'll call this year a big success if I can do that. So that's kind of what my goal is.
Definitely.
Get that man booked.
Yes, we'll get to the booking bit as well in a minute. Fee, I know, well, obviously the last question is going to be yours, but this is your last wrestling question to ask, Xander. So
okay, so I'm going to ask it. I mulled this one over, and I was going to make it my last question, but I mulled this one over, and because I'm allowed to ask you a wrestling related question now, I'm going to ask you this one. If it isn't Ahmed Hamdi, who's going to be your tag team partner?
It's not Ahmed Hamdi. Well, that's hard. That's really hard. Let's think. I might actually have it. I think if it wasn't Ahmed Hamdi, it might actually be Frank Gallo.
Oh, I can see that.
I don't even know.
But yeah, okay.
But like basically, me and Frank have only met a couple of times. But even when we do just have that brief chat, I'm like, oh, we're very similar. He's like the me version of Power Pro Wrestling. It seems like anyway. So I'm like, okay, cool. I think we would probably gel together quite nicely. I think so.
I can honestly see that. I know exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have crossed my mind until you'd said that, but the minute that I was like, okay, yeah, I can see that. But obviously it's Ahmed.
It's Ahmed. Ahmed's there, and I'm not leaving him.
You're a little bromance with the two of you.
We've got such a bromance. I'm not leaving. He's gonna have to put me through the barbershop window if he wants out of this one. That's the way to go. So.
I love the old school stories with the newer talents as well. The barbershop window of all things.
The Rockers were my boys. And I was a Marty Jannetty girl over a Shawn Michaels girl. But the Rockers is what are who made me fall in love with tag team wrestling.
Yeah, they were great. The Rockers were really, really good. Xander, as you start to wrap up now, look, where can people find you on social media? What have you got coming up that you can announce? And if you are available for bookings, where can people reach out to you?
Yes, you can find me on Facebook. I've got a page, just Xander Davidson. I think the @ is Xander Davidson PW to be precise. Instagram is the same handle, Xander Davidson. Xander spelled with an X. But yes, Xander Davidson PW on Facebook and Instagram. That's also Xander Davidson @gmail.com. You can inquire about bookings through personal message on Instagram, Facebook, or by sending me a wee email is all good as well. If you do want to use the post, that's fine. I'll be a bit miffed that you know my address, but I won't bite your foot off for it either. I won't bite your hand off. But that's where you'll be able to find me. I do have some exciting things coming up this year. Obviously, PBW are celebrating their 20th birthday today, 31st of March, and they're celebrating that with a massive weekender on the 24th and the 25th of April. Me and Ahmed are scheduled to defend the tag team titles on the 24th in Greenock. And then our new challengers are going to be determined on the 25th, but we will be there and we will be watching very closely.
Hopefully still with those belts.
Still with the belts. Hopefully so. I'm planning on holding this belt for a long time. I don't want to lose it anytime soon. It'd be, as I said, we're trying to take out to Europe. It'll be a bit of a kick in the teeth if we lost it the next time out before getting to do that. So hopefully get to hold them on for a wee while. Other than that, though, I'm going to Germany in June for a new company called Danube Pro Wrestling. I'm taking part in a 5-way elimination match with some top talent from all over. Hector Invictus, Andrew Creed, Kevin Caden, and Bentley, I think, are the other 4 guys in it. 2 from Germany, 1 from England, 1 from Switzerland, and me, the Stag from Scotland. But that's to enter into as a qualifier for a Danube Pro Wrestling European Championship. So if I can win some overseas gold, that'd be great as well. That's in June. I'm also going out in September there. So that'll be good as well. And other than that, I'll just be popping up all over Scotland and England if I can help it. So that's the big stuff.
There we go. As Fee was saying, getting booked. Fee, I'll come back to you for the final question of the show. I just need to run through some bits. We've got kind of obviously Independent Scotland continues. Shay Monet is next up. That should be a bundle of laughs from what I've been told. Anyway, that one's on you, Fee. We've also got your tag team partner, of course, coming up on the show very soon. And
Right.
Bobby Roberts coming up as well, all on the show. And Billy Starks from AEW. Austin Brooks will come up as well. Eric Bischoff will be joining us one more time on the show as well. And another one that you won't know about another one until it's dropped. I think we'll leave it there. But before then, of course, Ignite Wrestling, May the 3rd. Come and celebrate. So you go and see Fiona, of course, when you're in Scotland. But if you fancy a treat over and Xander, of course, yes, of course. But if you fancy a May bank holiday over at Shenley Road in Boreham Wood, come and see me and the crew at Ignite Wrestling on the May the 3rd as they present the end game. And boy, oh boy, have we got a lot to unpack from that last show with the Rebellion and GM CJ Carter kicking off in the foyer, which was a great way to end the first show of the year, as you can imagine. But coming up on that particular show, Jaden Williams versus Tommy Kyle versus Corey McRae. We have the breakout division with 2 of the most exciting young talents in Brit Wrestling, Regan Blade and AJ Payne. We have got the return of our former champion, Aluna. She had to vacate the championship at the last show, but she's back. She's not getting the title rematch that she wanted straight away. More on that in a minute. But she will be getting the debut in Violent Night. And our champion, Mr. Happy, I kind of call him the Comet like the Comet, he smiles every 2,000 years. He won the championship in the last show, thus becoming Ignite's first ever Grand Slam champion. But his first defense will be against rising upstart Denzel Mack. And in the main event, I talked about them earlier, one of CPF, that being Joe Lando, will be going against the new Ignite Wrestling champion, making his first defense, the Ultimate Geezer Tommy Tanner. Some of you may have saw him at King's Cross Station the other week with the Ignite Championship, I might add as well. But 96 Eventbrite for your tickets, 90% gone. So if you want them by the time this goes out, you may not be able to get them. So tough. So hurry up and get them while you can, and then follow us everywhere at HTT Buckle on all social media platforms. But to finish the show, as you will know, if you've watched our shows before with Fiona, when we do interviews, we give her the final question of said show. So Fiona, over to you.
Okay, so I had to think about this one as well. It's not too off the wall. I like to ask a non-wrestling question. So, if you could only drive one car for the rest of your life, what car would it be, and what would be the only band stroke singer that would be able to play in the car? So one car, one band stroke singer, and that would be you for the rest of your life.
This might be the first time I ever thought of this question because I am not a driver. So
I know you're not a driver. So, but then everyone looks at cars and goes, "That's a cool car. That's a cool car."
Yeah, I mean, I was always the kind to be like the A to B type guy. I don't think about it too much, but if I think of like an iconic car that I always enjoyed, Do you know like the Michael Caine Italian Job, that film?
Yeah.
So one of those three Mini Coopers would do me perfectly. The ones that
Okay.
they stole the golden. I love those Mini Coopers, those old school
Minis
ones.
are so fun to drive.
So probably one of those, just because I have a fond memory of watching that film at my granny and granddad's house. So I'm like, cool, I'll take one of them. If I had to pick, one band or singer, who can I listen to on repeat without worrying too much? It's hard. It's hard. I go through phases where I just kind of circle. So it's let's go with uh, mm, probably. I'll go with Bon Jovi on this one. I think Bon Jovi. I think
Nice.
because I remember one of my earlier CDs. I'm a big nostalgia guy. Is Bon Jovi's Great Hits, were one of my first ever CDs I got as a kid. So it had like Wanted Dead or Alive, Living on a Prayer, You Give Love a Bad Name, Always, Bed of Nails, all those kind of ones. So or Bed of Roses it was called. Yeah, that's it. So I could probably quite happily listen to that album
Bon
on
Jovi have had some bangers over the
They have,
years.
they have. It's My Life, another one. So there's more than there were on just that one album that have come out since. So I'm
I
all, I'm
approve
all
of
for
your
that.
choices.
Excellent.
There you go. So
Phew.
there you go. There you have it. What a great show this was. Obviously, big thanks to you, Fiona, as ever, joining us for the season.
Always
Obviously,
a pleasure.
we hopefully will get some more NWA watched as well, so we can be
I'm going to
returned.
try tonight.
Good luck. I've seen it, so good luck. Hopefully, you'll get to see it. Xander, all the very best. I hope to see you over here. Hey, listen, we've got a championship, and I need someone that smiles. So
Yeah,
if you smile, you got a chance. So
I can do it. Well,
let's see if we can make it happen. But we wish you obviously the best of luck as well for the remainder of the year. Guys, we'll be back with some more Independent Showcase Scotland with everything as you can imagine that we do on the channel. So don't forget to follow us everywhere, HTD Buckle. And until next time, from Xander, from Fiona, I've been your host, Adam Cousins. Until then, buckle down, stay safe, and good night.